I remember at one point I was sitting in my house. Cops were riding around looking for me. There was no power, no water. There was spoons, needles, baggies, pipes. And I asked myself, how did I get this low? I come from a family that's proud. Don't do this type of stuff, man. How did I get this low? My name is Sam Cook. Hear my story. We grew up pretty poor family out of a trailer park out of Ocoee. Some of my best memories, obviously. Growing up was pretty nice. We were a real tight-knit family up until about the age of 13. The age of 13, my father died. That was a really huge impact in my life. I'll never forget it as a kid. I was sitting in the living room of our trailer, and my dad was a big man. He was 6'1", probably 275, 280, maybe more. I mean, he was just huge as a kid. I remember tattoos everywhere. He was my hero, man. And I heard a loud thud, and I looked down the hallway, and there was my dad laying on the ground. And my first instinct was to run and help him. And between his strength and mine, we got up on the bed, and my dad was the type of guy that he didn't believe in hospitals, he didn't believe in doctors, he didn't believe in any of that. And he looked at me, he says, "Get your mother, we gotta go to the hospital." And we go to the hospital, he gets admitted, he seems just kind of get stable or whatever, and we get a call around 2 o'clock in the morning from my older brother David. Said that my dad wasn't doing good and that we needed to get up there. So me and my mom got in the car and we left, got to the hospital, and when I got there, he was being transferred down to the ICU unit. And they were wheeling him, and we happened to get there around the time he was coming off the elevator. And I remember seeing his body just laying there. It was white and purple polka dots. And he never spoke to me again. I seen doctors rushing in the room. I seen a little blue light flashing above the room. And a couple minutes later, the doctors come out, let us know that he had passed away. From that point, I didn't give a fuck about anything anymore. Nothing mattered. Nothing mattered. I started using drugs. First time I tried cocaine, I was around 16 years old. It was through a family friend. It was one of those spur of the moment things. I felt like I needed to do it to look cool. And I did it. And I liked it. And combine that with the alcohol abuse I had already been going through. I've been drinking since I was roughly 14, 15 years old. Was drinking, Mad Dog 2020, just stuff, anything that we could steal out of the stores. And alcoholism never stopped. It ran rampant. It ruined everything. From that point, I met my baby's mother, and we spent about 7 years together. And throughout those 7 years, there were highs and lows with every relationship, but throughout all of it, I was a raging alcoholic. And at that point, she made the decision to leave because I wouldn't change. I wouldn't show her that my family meant more to me than drugs, alcohol, and my friends. So she left. And then it got really, really bad. I was at a house by myself where all my family was, and what meant everything to me, and once again, it was taken. And I was so far gone. I had upgraded from cocaine to methamphetamines, and it still didn't hit. I had pulled some other stupid moves and got charged for some things that I did, and I was facing 60 years. This is out of Sumter County. I was told that I needed to sign a paper that was waiving 8 years of my life for the rest, just 8 years, and there was nothing else that could be done. Nobody could save me. Nothing. That was it. That was my choice. Was 8 years in prison. So he said, "Do you want to sign this paper now?" I said, "Well, if I got to be in court tomorrow, then I'll just sign it tomorrow." And I drove home. It was the longest drive home from Sumter County, Florida, in my life. I contemplated on running my car into semis on the way home. I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't know how to go home and tell my family I was going to be gone for 8 years. At this point, I had been sober from alcohol probably 8 months, something like that. And my little girl is the reason why I stopped. I was calling her from jail one time, and she said, "Daddy, make me a promise." I said, "What's up, baby girl? What do you want?" She says, "When you get home, will you stop drinking?" And I knew that was one of the biggest promises that I could make, and one of the hardest promises I could make at that time in my life, because alcohol was what was me. That was my thing. I needed that to survive, I thought. And I made the promise, and I said, "I promise you." And thank God, to the date, I haven't touched any alcohol. I got charged with 4 counts of illegal use of an ID of a person over 60. Final result was I was given 6 months in Sumter County Jail and 4 years of probation. I was given another chance at life. That's how I took it. I get home, I have nothing, absolutely nothing. I got a couple pairs of clothes when I got home from jail. Thank God, once again, my mom, she's my rock, man. She helped me through all of this. I stuck to my guns on being sober. And here I am now. I've been sober almost 2 years. Me and my partner started a construction business, remodeling homes back in November. Business is good. But I know at the end of the day, the changes that have become in my life are because of what God's done for me. The things that have been removed, the addictions, the pain, just the simple joy that I have in waking up in the morning and knowing that I don't got a hangover. I got a couple bucks in my pocket. I got people that look up to me. And most of all, my kids are proud of me, man. My kids are proud of me. You can change this. You don't have to live like this. Your life doesn't have to end like this. There are people out there that care, and there are people out there that want to see you do better. It happened for me, and it can happen for you. The power of God is endless. Never lose faith that you can change and that God has a better plan for you and for me.